Okay, I ended up, this is going to be part 3 of the video. I downloaded all the little other clips that I had and it was already like 17 or 18 minutes long, so I made that part 2. Hopefully this will be the last part, and otherwise it'll get too boring. And didn't get much done today. I'm not, well actually I did. I got my tail wheel endorsement today, so I was pretty excited about that. It was in a very basic Piper J3 Cub up at the Lawrence Airport, and love that plane, so much fun. And the guy sent me off today, he said, you got it, but keep flying. So the plan is to keep practicing, probably gonna be another year out before we fly this thing. Also helps with the insurance and so on and so forth. Back to the console. What I did was, I don't know if you remember, but I had a little dimple here and a little cutout there, so it slides over the bolts, and I just thought it looked funny, so I ended up making a little template that goes on it, heated it with the heat gun, and then laid it down, and this is like a centering punch. They come in all different sizes, and basically just pushed it through. So now we have a more uniform looking extrusion there. Anyway, useless. I marked these. This is probably where the cables are gonna come through, and I think I'm gonna cut these and then call it a night. I didn't really want to get involved with this tonight because that's a rabbit hole that can take a few hours, but I basically just arched this a little bit and kind of see if I like the look. I have to look at it a few times in and out of the plane, and then the thing that's most important is that I can minimize the steps and differences enough to be able to stretch the Alcantara around it. But that's as far as I'm doing tonight. Good night. I whipped up these 2 little cocktail stirrers, and basically, what they are is they're gonna go inside here, and then I'll contour this around it. This is the cutout for where the wires can come out for the headset. Now I'm gonna make a little piece that goes in here that makes it round. I did cut the lid cover. I think I'm gonna make that round, so make a little filler piece here and glue all that together. It's all a little more time consuming because I'm doing it with hand tools. So this happens to be the exact radius that I need inside there to match up with these. But yeah, you work with what you got, I guess. All right, I won't bore you with too much sanding. I'm done anyway. So that's where that guy ended up. So I glued all them in. I glued these pieces in. I made a little filler piece back here just to keep the round going. It kind of fills in where the hinge is. I thought that looks nice. So most importantly, the material can wrap up, and I'll hand glue it underneath there, and I'll be able to like tuck it underneath there. I hope. You may have noticed I rounded this over. It's amazing how much smaller it looks all of a sudden. And I started to shape these here. I'm not done with this. I kind of just shaping it to see what shape I like. But yeah, that's pretty cool. This, besides the cords for the headsets coming out of here, it's also a good place to grab it to open and close the console. So making progress, another couple of days. And I actually can't even get the Alcantara, it's back ordered, so it'll probably be a while before I wrap it. So here's what's going through my head right now to progress on the center console. This plate that the jacks sit on, I made that out of 3/16, and I was justifying it to myself because I wanted it to be, you know, super sturdy and tight. That is, I'm gonna change that to maybe like 1/8 inch or even thinner. And the reason I did 3/16 is because it lined up perfect with the nuts. Like I didn't have to put any spacers in the back. It just ended up flush. You tighten them and they look good where they are. I'm gonna make it thinner and put the spacer in the back, primarily so I can sink this back a little bit more, recessed, and it's just too strong. It doesn't need to be that strong. I also bought a couple of 1/8" jacks. We're gonna do an audio out. That's tied into probably the right side headphone jack, so you can do like GoPro camera, and audio in, just because we have it, and that'll give us all the connections we need. I gotta grind these and shape these a little bit more to my liking. And then this is probably the next big project, is the actual lid. I'm not planning on just keeping it a simple plastic lid. I'm actually planning on making a shape that kind of looks like that with a cutout in it, and then space this up a little bit and have a little bit of storage area inside there. So I keep buying these nets on Amazon. So basically, obviously it's not going to be that wide. I'll make my own. So you can stick, I don't know, a pen or a tissue package or a fuel tester or batteries or something in there. So yeah, so that's basically going to be cut out. That'll be built up. And then on top of that will be, sorry, gotta look where I'm aiming the camera. This will probably be built up out of plastic, maybe 3/4 to 1/4 of an inch, which in turn will be storage area inside there. And then the rest of it will be padding. So lid, jacks, this, I gotta fill that in, and final shaping it, and I should be good to wrap it. I might redo this because I bought this guy to mount on that side. It doesn't really fit here because of the fuel thing. So I might just re-carpet this and pull the tweed off and put the riv nuts in. But that's to be seen. Yeah, it's taking some shape. I like it. I got rid of more material, kind of make it flow a little smoother. And on this, I don't know if you can tell, but I rabbited out 1/16 times 1/16. And this is basically gonna get glued inside there. That'll be the lip. There'll be a lid on top of that, and then this will get cut out and the net will be there, and I gotta figure out a way to mount it. So making progress on that. I made a new one of these. This is now less than an 1/8". That's I find out that if you put the nut behind it and a nut in front of it, it fits perfect. So that's gonna go in there. And then finally my Alcantara came in. I ordered this stuff. Actually, I looked for 3 different vendors for a particular gray, and they're all back ordered or can't get it from Italy or one thing or another. So finally found a vendor in New York, and we got 3 yards of Alcantara. The stuff's sinfully expensive, but nothing but the best. I'm gonna do that in Alcantara, the side panels, the top panels, and I don't know what else. I'll figure it out. I may have mentioned before that I love my rivet squeezer, the one I didn't want to buy. So I basically just countersunk that a little bit back there, and these are 8/32 stainless T-nuts. And normally what I've done in the past is I would just heat them up and melt them in, but I figured I'd give this a try. And man, I love this tool. Beautiful. Now I have threads in here, solid threads to mount the hinge. All right, now I'm going to bed. Good night. Quick lesson learned on that, using the squeezer on these threads. It was very close, but I squeezed it so hard that I actually distorted the threads, and because it's 5/16 thick. Long story short, the screw got stripped in there and I had to start all over. So tomorrow I'm meeting up with George, my building partner, and I kind of assembled it to show him what I was working on. Disregard this slot. I had thin plastic in there and I sanded through it, so I'm putting a thicker one in. But I put the audio jack panel back in there, make sure that fits, the cup holder, the USB, the hinge, and it's funny, it was actually pretty lightweight until I put the, I don't know if it's the audio jacks. I put everything on now. Now it's got a little substance. Still not heavy, but I Really happy with the way it's coming out. All right, now I'm going to bed. We're going flying tomorrow, by the way. Good night. So I'm ready to cut out the inside of the lid. And like I said, there's going to be a little cavity in there, and I wanted one of these nets to kind of stretch across it, so when you open it you can stuff some stuff in there, and plus it looks cool. And I was trying to figure out the best way. So these nets have like these little crimps on the end of the rubber band that's up there, and then the rest of the nut is also very flexible. But I got to figure out a way to secure it in there. They have kind of this wire that goes around and then hooks into there. And I think I'm going to do something similar. I basically played with just like a crimp connector on the end because I don't have the capabilities of putting that wire on it. And I'll leave little tabs here. That's the plan anyway, with just a jigsaw cut. That's all this is. Maybe drill a hole and then like a hole, maybe like a size 40 hole. And this can literally kind of just clamp in there, go over, and I can feed this netting through it and then put the metal, bend one of these metal things to go behind it. I think it'll work. I don't know, we'll try. So I cut a couple of sticks of spacers, 1/2 inch here and 1/4 inch there. They line up with the edge, and I'm gonna route this out. This I'll probably just do by hand, and then I'll cut these where the little tabs are that I showed earlier. I don't know if this is a good idea. Usually I do this on a table router at work, but I want to get it done, so I'm going to do this here. It's probably going to make a mess, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I got that routed out. Ended up cutting the rest of it just with the good old jigsaw because I didn't feel like setting up a template and a bearing and yada yada. So now I'm going to take this piece and glue it in that little groove. I don't know if you can see it, but that's gonna go wrap around there. Yeah, I'll do it with 2 hands. Here it is. Get that glued in. Really kind of getting wound up, and I want to finish the top, but I gotta go to bed. Plus we're going to Oshkosh soon. Alright, I made the top. Maybe hard to see, but I routed a little, rabbited a little corner in there so it kind of snaps on there. It's more of a guidance so I can glue it. And then I said, well, probably should work on this netting thing. So the idea is just to have a net inside there so you can take advantage of even that little bit of storage. So I took the metal that came with the Amazon thing and I bent it into the shape that I want. Basically back here it's just going to hook in, kind of lock in, but now I'm trying to figure out how to secure the front. This rubber band will go across it, so these will be cut off. These will be like looped around or something, but I need it to not fall backwards, and I'm trying to not put a screw in there, but I'll think of something eventually, maybe. Alright, I think this will work. So I took that metal piece, and remember that piece was like a long piece for that. And I bent it to fit down here, you saw that. And then I made these little hooks and these little rails, little 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch spacers. And ultimately you're gonna wanna be able to put this thing in from this side because you don't have access from the back side. And I think that's doable. And this will basically, then I drilled a little hole here. It doesn't go through all the way because I don't want to see it on that side. I'll show you what the other thing's for in a minute. So yeah, that basically alright, I've had it in there. Locks in like that and like that. So what that does, hold the net up, is it keeps, the rail keeps it from pushing, pushing back, and this keeps it from unhooking. But if you need to unhook it, you can stick a little screwdriver or something in there. Now I need to shorten this rubber band, and what's going to happen is it's basically going to hook in here. Like I figured out a good size. It's just a jigsaw cut, weave through here, and then hook around on this side, you know, with the right amount of tension. So obviously this band's a lot longer, I already cut it, than the other one was. And they had these like crimped on, like almost like a hog ring, mini hog ring thing. Well, I don't have that, and I tried to do it with wire, I couldn't. So I came up with the idea of taking out of a butt connector the inner ferrule out and put that on, crimp that on. That seems to be really tight, and then just chopped it in half. And now I marked this one, and I'm gonna do that for the other side. Hopefully it'll work. And there you have it. I haven't permanently put this on yet, but that little thing with the crimps worked on there. And now you have a little net piece, and you can put in, I don't know, whatever you want. Oxygen. Fuel tester. Flying eyes sunglasses. Not sponsored, but I like them. Or pack of Camel lights. So anyway, that is the lid. On top of this will be padding, and then the whole thing will be covered. So I just thought that was a nice touch. I like it. Some cars have that, so it goes with the other nets that I'm gonna use.